Right, okay, so once you've done the cab check, you come outside, you're going to do a full walk around on the exterior. So with the doors, I start from the left, close them. We've already checked the integrity of the inside of the handrails and all that. The purpose of this now is close the doors. Are they secure from the outside? Potentially get this bus up to 60 mile an hour, and if that's not secure, they're going to start flapping, and that's not really good. So doors are secure, legal signage in place, general condition of the glass and the rubber is good. Confirming the emergency tap works, which it does. Release the pressure of the doors, reset the trap. Doors are back as you started. So literally from left to right, I feel is a good process to follow, covers everything. Then we're going to walk around the vehicle, we're checking our mirrors are secure, clean, clear, free from defect. Glass is in good condition, bodywork's in reasonably good condition. When you're checking your bodywork, you're looking for anything protruding from the vehicle, any sharps. So looking at this, yeah, there's some old damage, it's been taped up. Is it sharp? Is it safe? It's fine to go on the road. Moving around to the front of the vehicle, I recommend step back. Inside, I mentioned spiral motions to scan your way through. Outside, start from the top, work your way down. As you move around the vehicle, always start from the top, work your way down. That way you're making sure you cover everything on the vehicle. So from the very top, I've got my running lights, marker lights, whatever you want to call them. The destination blind is lit, and the glass for that is in good condition. Moving down, I'm looking at my windscreen. You see there's no chips, no cracks. In the driver's view, which is basically the windscreen arc, no chips bigger than 5 pence a piece, and any cracks. So if you have a crack from here to here, that would be okay to take out on the road. I'd still report it, and you'd be looking for signs of whether they drilled it and epoxied it. So if they have, they've stopped the progression of the crack. But ultimately, if there is a crack there, it's legal to go out on the road. But if it's from edge to edge, so if it was across the screen like that, that would be a no, because it will affect the structural integrity. Checking the operator's license is present and in date. My windscreen wipers, we just pull them out, check there's good tension, and don't run your fingers along, but just giving them a little flick. So they usually go on the ends, don't they, and they get a little bit loose. Good tension, job done. This panel is secure. L plates are clearly displayed. Moving down, stepping back a little bit. My headlights, my main beam, and my hazards are all working. Further down, I've got my number plate. It's clearly displayed, it's clean, it's secure. The font is correct, and I'm going to make a mental note of it to make sure the back matches. Sounds mad, but there are occasions where engineers will swap a bumper and forget to change the number plates, so we got to make that check. Finally, just having a little look underneath. There's no leaks or anything hanging down. Shouldn't be. Moving around the vehicle. There's many ways to do things, but I found this, again, it's my creature of habit. Doing things in threes helps you remember. On this corner, good opportunity to look down the length of the vehicle, and I can see all my glass is in good condition. It saves you then mentioning every pane of glass as you go. You've said it in a sweeping statement. Same with my bodywork down the full length of the vehicle. I can see my bodywork is in good condition. And also at this stage, I'm going to switch the engine off. Why am I switching the engine off? Because from this point forward, I need to be listening for air leaks. The reason I didn't do it as I left the cab, if you look at the front of the bus and the headlights, fortunately I've got long arms, the headlights have gone out. So you have to leave the engine running to do the front end of the bus to ensure your bulbs are working. But from this point forward, you want the engine off, so you're listening for air leaks throughout the rest of your checks. So I've already mentioned the glass and bodywork, I don't need to mention that again. But if it's a flap that can open, is it secure? Yes, it is. CCTV is also secure and it's reasonably clean, no water in it. The side repeater for my indicators is working, and there's no white light showing, again no water in it. I've got my marker lights or running lights, whatever you want to call them, And as I'm looking at one of them, as much as I can tell in the sunshine, I can see all of them are working. So again, it's another sweeping statement. Don't need to talk about them anymore. Checking my fuel cap, make sure it's secure. Fuel guys, they, are obviously responsible for closing it. Not always the case, so making sure that that's secure is very important. Moving down to the wheel. The wheel is quite a lot of information. I stay on the outside, I start from the top and I almost do it like a scan, all the way down through until I get to the bottom to make sure I cover everything. So, the trim is in good condition, it's not hanging off in any way. And if you follow the trim down to the bottom, you come to your mud flaps, give them a little kick to make sure they're fully secure and checking they're not excessively caked in mud. There isn't one attached there, so that's fine. Next, you've got the space around the wheel. Just having a look around, we never stick our hands in there. It's quite, when you're explaining, it's tempting to put your hands in. Don't do that. But I'm looking around for any signs of debris. There might be a branch or anything, any foreign objects. It's clear as I'm looking at it now. Come to the trim of the wheel, or the tread, sorry. Minimum of 1 mil, 3/4 of the width, all the way round, as reasonable in a first user check. You don't have to move the vehicle to make sure you check the bottom. You just have a glance around to spot any nails or anything hanging out or any flat spots is what you're looking for. Next, we're coming down, we've got the tyre wall, BBC, blisters, bulges, cuts. Simple as that. If he wants you to expand, you're looking for no signs of cord showing, no cuts bigger than an inch long. But if you just say I'm looking for no blisters, bulges and cuts, move on. Then you come to the writing on the wheel. There's lots of information on the wheel. All we're interested in, the size and the speed rating, which is J on this wheel. You will be checking that that matches on the other side of the vehicle. It's ensuring that you don't have two different tyres on an axle on a bus. This company is very good at, we've got a tyre smith on in-house. But you're practicing for Mod 4, you could be working for a coach company that's not as strict with their tyre checks. Moving down, we got our tyre rim, wheel rim, make sure it's not dented in any way, distorted, and the tyre sat on it correctly. Then we got the space in the hub. Again, you're just looking for any foreign objects. You've got your discs and your pads in there. Any stones or things rattling around in there is not ideal. Wheel nut markers, making sure they're not distorted in any way. So just a visual check, they all look the same. They're pointing to each other. If they weren't fitted, something that could give you an indication would be the thread depth. So all the thread depth is equal, and also rust bleed. Sounds crazy, but rust bleed. Looking at these bolts, there's no markers. But if there was it looking like bleeding rust, then that'll give you an indication that it's loose and that moisture's getting in behind, and it will create rust, and then it will leak rust. This one's got a hub cap, as I call it. So if these nuts weren't secure, it would be leaking oil, and you'd have star formation where it'd just be chucking out grease from the center as the wheel spins. But it's nice and clean, this one, so it's all good. No signs of fresh metal as well on any of the bolts or nuts. That could be a sign of tampering, so they're all looking good. Lastly, as I move down, you come to the footprint as the tyre makes contact with the ground. On most wheels, this one is a bit worn, so if you follow me to the back wheel, you can see these crowns, as we call them crowns. These davits, if you can't see them, you'll feel them. Between 5 and 8 is what we're looking at for the tyre pressure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, anywhere between that distance, 6, 7, 8, and that distance. If you take that down to the bottom, that should be roughly how much the wheel is making contact with the ground. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that's fine. Anything more would give you an indication that either the tyre is overinflated or underinflated. Alright, back to where we were. So that's covered everything on the wheel. So you're just moving on from this point now. And it's literally walk back where we just came from. I've already mentioned the markers, I've already checked my glass, already checked my bodywork. When I come to this wheel, it's literally for your Mod 4 test, you're just going, the purpose of the test is you're telling us what checks you'd make and the information. If you were checking this bus to go on the road, you carry out all the same checks. Just tell your examiner that. I would carry out all the same checks as I did at the front. However, the difference back here is I've got an inner wheel. Looking at the inner wheel, there's not much more you can check on it other than, is there a problem with it? And the only indication would be that tyre bulge at the bottom, 5 to 8. If there was more contact on the ground and there's a bigger bulge, that could give you an indication that the inner tyre is deflated or there's a problem. That's all you need here, all right? Carrying on, the exhaust is secure. Just give it a tap with your foot. It's not standing on it, it's just, is it reasonably secure, not rattling around. Fire exit, legal signage in place. Fire exit must open at least 90 degrees. Reason for that is if the vehicle is on its side, as dramatic as that sounds, if the vehicle is on its side, you're not getting out that door, you're coming out this one. And if that only opens so far, it would impede people exiting. It's worth at this point, just because it's a vantage point, quick glance under the seats, because it's a nice easy position to see that. Close the door, it's secure. More legal signage in place, and this is secure also. Another panel, secure, secure. This one is your radiator grille, which you normally find on the front of your car, with the engine being in the back. This time of year, especially in the autumn, you can imagine you can get leaves and all debris, so it's making sure that that's clear for the engine to breathe. Move around the back, same as the front, step back, start at the top, work your way down. So from the top, I can see I've got my 4 hazards are working, my 4 tail lights are working. Sunlight can be a little bit of a challenge. My display board is working, glass is in good condition, emergency exit is clearly displayed. Moving down, I've got my L plates clearly displayed, legal signage, and this flap is secure. Coming down, I usually work from the outside at this point. Reflectors are they're clean, they're clear, they're not damaged in any way. Moving in, I've got my fog light lit. The reverse light is not lit. How would we check that? And what other light is not lit? And the brake lights aren't lit. So literally, on test, the way to do it is say to the examiner, I can go and test it from the cab if you wouldn't mind standing behind the vehicle and giving me the thumbs up. I'm not going to demonstrate that now. If he wants you to demonstrate it, he'll ask you, or he'll just say, not at this time. Ultimately, because you've told the examiner what you would do, he knows you know how to do it. Alright? Then moving in, finally we've got the number plate. It matches the front. Again, it's clean, it's clear, it's secure, it's yellow because it's the rear of the vehicle. And we've got our number plate lights. And if you cup your hands under that, normally you can see it lit, but it's really bright at the moment, so worst case, you've got to bend down and look. They are quite dim, but they are working. Finally, looking underneath, again, no signs of leaks or anything hanging down that shouldn't be. Coming around this side of the vehicle, as I said before, if you're carrying out a first user check on a vehicle, you're going to do everything down here the same, aren't you? So obviously ensure you do that. For the purposes of the exam, if you've covered the other side well, your examiner is just going to say, would you carry out all the checks the same as you did on this side? Your answer is going to be yes. So the examiner is then going to say, what would you check differently? Or what's different on this side of the bus? Well, I've got another flap there, that's secure. Ish. Yep, that's secure. And it's worth mentioning, that's where my emergency engine stop is, on the outside of the vehicle. Got my company address clearly displayed, and the unladen weight of the vehicle. You might be questioned, what is the unladen weight? We're not looking for you to read out 10,960 kilograms, round it up. We're looking for, it's just under 11 tons. Alright? So the wheels checked, you know, it's the same as the other side. all you're doing is relaying what checks would you make. So by the time you come back to here, you've got more legal signage here for CCTV. Other than that, that completes that check.